This is the Padua Podcast Network.
Running a Fever, episode 338. Metaphor for life.
Okay, we are walking. I think I might have taken you through the warm-up last time, but we're walking right now. It's a beautiful day at Lake Fayetteville. Surprise, surprise. It's probably, I don't know, maybe 70 degrees. Maybe a little warmer than that, I don't know. It's been a great day. I think low 60s to low 70s, something like that. So, welcome to Running a Fever. My name is Michael Davis. This is a podcast about fitness, diet, and medicine. Occasionally some other things, maybe. My goal is to live a long, healthy, happy, active life. Right up to the very end. If that's what you want, well, you're in the right place. Listening to the right show. I'm going to try to walk about 2 miles today. Just like last time. Howdy. Didn't have too much trouble with the 2 miles last time out. It's been, I guess it's maybe been over a week. Time just flies past. I don't know, but today, it's not that I thought about it. It's not that it's become a habit. But this week has been very, very stressful for me. And so when I think of doing unhealthy things, like eating the stress, or partaking in any other activity that's not good for me just to, distract me from what's going on in real life, just came to mind something that someone told me recently. When you get to that point, call somebody. And I have talked to a couple people today. And comes a bike. And he also said, well, go take a walk, leave your money and cards at home, so you won't be tempted to go and buy some food. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking a walk. I left all my payment methods at home, although it just occurred to me, I didn't leave my phone at home. And I can fairly easily pay with my phone. In fact, that's usually what I do. And unless I'm at home, if I'm somewhere else and I'm going to get pizza, I open up the Pizza Hut app. It's got my numbers all saved in there. Anyway, I could leave my phone at home. It wouldn't bother me too much. I don't think there's any sort of emergency that would come up that would require me to answer the phone in a less than an hour. I think the last time I was out here, I said something like, this won't even be 5,000 steps. And on that day, I had 7,500 steps, and I had walked 2 miles on the trail. So, I don't know, I may have a pretty good step count today. I haven't done much up until today. Had a meeting after work. I went to a funeral today, and I worked from home. Yeah, it always feels good after a walk. During, maybe not so much. Depends on how it is, but something about getting out of nature and breathing the fresh air, seeing the beauty, even right here in the middle of heavily populated, on my lights anyway. It's a city, folks. It's not New York City. It's not Chicago, but it's a city. It's a city composed of 3 cities, technically, but it's all really one. There's no break between Fayetteville and Springdale and Lowell and Rogers and Bentonville, so forth. It's all just one big. But in the middle of it all, some number of square acres, or actually not square acres, acres. I think acre is already a square of something. So many rods. I forget all of the English measures of distance. But anyway, a certain amount of space that's big enough to have trails that are completely wooded on both sides. I can hear the traffic, but I don't smell the fumes. All I smell are leaves and grass, and it's a beautiful time of year. As I record this, it's October 19th. Looks like some things are falling, kind of like raindrops, but blue sky above and the sun shining. So anyway, the leaves are falling. There's just constantly falling leaves all around me. It's a beautiful day, and these days are memorable for their beauty, you know. I remember a podcast that I recorded, and I talked about God. Something about, I thought of God when I was walking through this particular area under a canopy of golden leaves. Right in this area. So I don't think I'll ever forget that scene, the view of that. I can't get this from looking at a picture, watching a video. You can't get it from listening to my podcast. You got to go out and do it yourself. And you know, it helps during periods of high stress, like I have experienced this week. Helps to think of others and, check out my gratitude list. You know, my health could be better, but I've got up there with the best health care in the world. If I did not have the health care that I'm privileged to access, I would not be seeing right now. I would have my old corneas and no contact lenses, and everything would be blurry, no matter how far away it was. I would have a tendon that was probably, just about torn in two. God knows how that would have healed without good medical care. And the list goes on, So I'm grateful for that. And because of that, I will probably live a longer life and a more active life longer. And that will make me happier. So it will help reach my goal. And I know I'm not even close to a mile yet, but I got to pay attention to the markers along the trail so I know how far I've come, how much farther I have to go. Really sounds like a metaphor for life. But I don't want to spend too much time thinking about what's in the past, worrying about what's in the future, and try to focus on now. Now, I'm enjoying nature, enjoying putting my body through some mild exercise, breathing and smelling the forest. 4.41. So that's roughly 0.6 of a mile. So you got 91, 92, 91, 101, 111, 3.81, 3.91, 4.01, 4.11, 4.21, 4.31, 4.41, 4.51, 4.61, 4.71, 4.81. So yeah, 0.6 of the way to the turnaround point. Because of the cooler temperatures, I didn't want to come out in my shorts today. So I'm wearing some cotton sweatpants, and then I got my acrylic or whatever synthetic thing it is. 2009 Red Sox playoff hoodie I've had forever and doesn't seem to ever wear at all. It's only 14 years old. 4.5 miles. 0.7 of the way there. Back's starting to bother me, and I kind of expected that. Been having some pretty serious back soreness when I get up in the morning, and I've had some weird things going on in my neck. It's not like a crick. I'm not sure what exactly a crick is. I got to look that up.
According to dictionary.com, a crick is a sharp, painful spasm of the muscles, as of the neck or back.
4.56. I think of a crick as something that hurts when you reach a certain point of turning your neck. This was something different. The area of my neck hurt when I bent my head towards that area. There's a red leaf. Somebody behind me, but I don't think they're getting closer. Yeah, so anyway, it's just a bunch of tension going on in my neck. And exercise is a good tension killer and stress reliever. 4.69. So I'm hoping to help that here, but my back is already starting to tighten up. I'll make it. It's going to be good for my back, I'm sure. It just may not be painless. The sun's pretty bright right here. Coming to kind of an open area on one side. 4.75. It's an area where there's some little fields. And it's private property. They've got signs. Private property beyond this point. Park boundary. So you don't go over there without an invitation. I've often seen deer over there. And there's hay bales. I think last time I used my own judgment as to when the 1 mile point was. It's kind of warm in this hoodie at this point. All right, there's a sign up here. 4.84. So, I had a thing pop up. Oh, now it starts. I had a thing pop up that said that I'd been walking for 10 minutes a while back, so I thought I could get my mile time. But, I can't control when it pops up. When I tap walking, it just starts a new timer. So, anyway. I don't like this watch as much as my old one, but in terms of usability, it looks great, but I actually had people ask me why I didn't have a smartwatch because they thought it was just a regular old chronometer, divers or aviators or whatever. Because that's what the face looks like. Even though it's a screen, it still actually looks like what one of those watches look like. But it also doesn't show me the text messages that I get. I don't know, it's probably because I haven't set it up right or haven't learned how to use it. I can get the messages, but I have to, turn the dial a couple times to the right and then, click on the, or tap the chat app. So anyway, instead of, you got a text message just pops up. Should have hydrated before I came out here. I just got dressed and came out before I lost my nerve and decided to go sit down and watch TV or something. Order some food in. Ordering food is so much more expensive than picking it up yourself. That's almost deterrent enough for me not to order anything. And I guess I'm lazy enough that I don't want to, get dressed enough to pick up food and go out and pick up some food. So if I can get home without getting some of the wrong kind of foods, then I'm halfway there. So my back feels better when I stop. It's good to have people in your life, just friends you can call and talk about things going on in life. Like I said, all the stress I'm feeling this week, I have to be able to reach out and talk to people. It's part of my responsibility. I may get lucky and somebody can just call me on a whim or whatever, or just because we call each other, I don't know. But shouldn't wait for that. Sun is dropping, so maybe it's a little bit cooler. I have cooled myself off a little bit. Still kind of glad I wore the hoodie. So I think it's going to be the regular uniform from here on out. Howdy. Thinking about what I want to do the rest of the night. Thinking I might want to go home and just close my eyes and listen to another podcast on a different subject. Plenty of things I could do. I've always got something to do on my to-do list. I've got a podcast. I've got a band that I'm recording with and in the future want to play live with. I've got songs to write. Something that happened, I don't know if I've spoken about on the podcast. I finished a novel this year. My first novel. It's called Backstop. I wrote it under the pen name Davis Falk because if you search for Michael Davis, you'll come up with about 9 billion entries. And so I thought I would get lost in that. Davis, F-A-L-K, Falk, Backstop. So check it out. If you like suspense, conspiracies, things like that, this may be the book for you. So walnuts or pecans or something, some round fruit or nut or something. Yeah, so I was talking about my to-do list. When you finish a novel, the next question that comes up is, what are you going to do for a follow-up? Are you going to do a sequel? You know, many of the most successful authors have a very long series of books about the same character, or sometimes an ensemble. David Baldacci's Camel Club series is an example of an ensemble series, but there's only 3 books and 1 short story in that series. Michael Crichton was not that guy. He did write a sequel to Jurassic Park. 1 sequel. He didn't write all the stories that you see the movies about. Those are written by someone else. But his books were all fantastic. And the movies are pretty good too. Probably my favorite is the Andromeda Strain, which was made way back in 69, 71, something like that. Early 70s probably. But the techno thriller, that's his genre. Wouldn't exactly call it science fiction, although it is fiction and it deals with technology of some kind. So I have an idea for another book. Stems from a world which I wrote 2 stories in. And so I might start that. But it's on my to-do list. Haven't actually done it yet. I did start on a sequel to Backstop, which I wasn't too happy with the beginnings of it. It's one of the things where, when I wrote the book, I didn't really know what the story was going to be. I just started writing it. And then the story just sort of came out of me. So I was hoping for something similar with the sequel, but I don't know, I just wrote and it didn't seem to happen for me. So maybe I'll try this other one. I actually got a book I'm going to do some research in. Man-made black holes. This real scientist, physicist, astrophysicist, put forth the idea, and I've got the huge book that he wrote. I really only need to read 1 chapter of it. So, I don't know if that's going to go. It'll probably be on my currently reading list for years. Got plenty of those. Yeah, it feels pretty good now. Sweating, but there's a breeze. Not really fatigued at all. I still feel the tightness in my lower back. I should have drank some water. Probably should have taken some ibuprofen. Been taking a lot of that lately. mainly for my back. The tension in my neck can also lead to headaches. 0.08 of a mile to go. So it's getting noisier. Several people out taking pictures at this beautiful time of day in this beautiful place. And I want to thank you for listening to Running a Fever. Remember that if you got the fever, keep it. If you don't, catch the fever. And I will talk to you next time on Running a Fever.